Prepare to go on a journey of discovery with one of the most charismatic group of creatures on the planet, the Shrew. There are 385 shrew species spanning the globe and utilizing many habitats. In this presentation, we will discover some of the more unique species with some surprising adaptations. First stop on our shrew tour, the Eurasian pygmy shrew, Sorex minutus, widespread through northern Eurasia. This tough little critter has to survive in some seriously chilly situations, and to prevail has some specialized adaptation. Firstly, the Eurasian pygmy shrew can change its body mass depending on the time of year, so they will gorge themselves when food is available and drop their mass in the harsh winter, as well as lowering their metabolic rate. Another adaptation shared with its other Sorex genus members are that their teeth are tipped crimson. This is caused by deposits of iron, which help to strengthen up the teeth to prevent daily wear and tear. Next, we travel to Europe for a shrew that is a little on the small size, the savvy pygmy shrew, Suncus etruscus. In fact, this shrew is the smallest land mammal in the world, weighing between 1.52 to 2 grams, roughly the same as a paperclip. But don't be fooled by the size. These tiny shrews are often been called musk shrew, due to the scent glands in the tail, which secrete a strong, musky odor. They are solitary animals, and so use this strong odor to help find a mate. Being terrestrial, they tend to live in farmlands, gardens, olive groves, and often along old walls and buildings. Their main diet is insects, but they are opportunists and will feed on human food. Being so small has its advantages. Their only known predator is the owl. As to many other predators, they are too small to be worth the effort. But equally, there are disadvantages to this minuscule size. They have a very high metabolic rate, with the heartbeat over 1,000 beats per minute. This means their heart beats about 17 times a second, meaning they cannot go more than a few hours without eating. To help combat this, they're more active during the night to help maintain their body temperature. To locate their food, they use their long noses, as they cannot rely on their sight. They also do not use their forelimbs while consuming their food. Like their other relatives in the Suncus genus, they have the ability to make some sort of chirping noise to ward off intruders. Next up, in Indonesia, it's up into the trees for the Tupaia javanica. This incredibly brainy little climber has the highest brain to body mass ratio of any known animal, including humans. Found in primary forests, this largely arboreal shrew has incredibly well-developed senses of hearing, smell, and vision. They are omnivorous, feeding on insects, small vertebrates, fruits, and seeds. Another member of the Tupaia genus, Tupaia glis. They are limited to Southeast Asia. They live for 2 to 3 years in the wild. They like deciduous tropical forests to inhabit, but are also found in fruit plantations and some gardens. They are multitasking, spending time in both trees and on the ground. They are called Tupaia from the word tupe, meaning squirrel. They resemble squirrels fairly well, but can be distinguished by their absence of long whiskers. From forest to desert. Next up is the round-eared elephant shrew, Mascroscylides proboscis. Living in desert and semi-desert areas, this speedy little critter runs between the sparsely placed vegetation at up to 20 kilometers an hour, which is equal to 5.5 meters a second. They burrow into the sand to hide from predators. Compared to the other members of the elephant shrew genus, the short-eared elephant shrew has shorter, rounded ears and lacks the pale rings. Mostly due to where they habituate, they are less threatened by predators. They mostly eat insects, termites, plants, and other small invertebrates. In the eastern United States lives a very lethal shrew, the southern short-tailed shrew, Blarina carolinensis, living in upland and wetland habitats, preferring places with a large amount of leaf litter. This shrew holds a terrifying secret. This species is venomous. The shrew venom is not conducted into the wound by fangs, but by grooves in the teeth via intravenous injection. The venom of the southern short-tailed shrew contains various compounds, and one dosage is strong enough to kill 200 mice, making it a pretty fierce killer, even taking on snakes. Up next, we're staying in America with the water shrew, Sorex palotrice. As the name suggests, it frequents at streams and other aquatic habitats, or areas with high humidity surrounded by heavy vegetation. Water shrews' lives are short and sweet, living for about 18 months. But they make the most of their time. They dive to forage for food, can control their metabolic reactions to conserve oxygen and stay under for longer, and keep a layer of air in their fur to allow them to stay dry and warm, so they can dive all through winter. This layer of air, however, has its disadvantages, making them buoyant, which means they must work much harder to swim down. Along with diving, it has been observed that some water shrews can perform the miracle of walking on water. It is believed that this is done by trapping air bubbles in the stiff hairs on their feet. Found in central Ecuador, Colombia, and northwestern Venezuela. This particular genus of shrews, Calanotes, are found at higher elevations within the Andes Mountains between 1,400 meters and 4,300 meters. However, most that are captured are caught below 2,400 meters. Living in areas of cloud forests, alpine tundra, they may be absent from areas they could inhabit due to competition from wandering small-eared shrews, which have a similar niche but are more competitive as they like to live in moist environments where there is lots of rainfall. Compared to other members of their genus, silky shrew opossums have a relatively delicate build and have fragile skulls. Their head-to-body length ranges between 229 to 237 millimeters, including a dark brown tail. These little acrobats have a semi-prehensile tail, which assists in climbing, although they cannot be used to solely support their weight. Members of the Calanotes genus have very small eyes, making it hard for them to see. They have tactile whiskers, like cats, and lip flaps that are also surprisingly tactile, which prevent them from taking in too much debris when eating. The members can also be distinguished from other marsupial groups by their unique dentation. Members of the genus Calanotes are solitary. They are primarily nocturnal and active during the early evening and at night. During the day, these animals stay in tunnels under tree roots. When they are active, they travel through paths in dense vegetation to keep out the way of predators. They are opportunistic feeders, eating mainly insects, however, have also been known to eat smaller amounts of vertebrae and vegetation. From being inaccessible to too accessible, the very endangered Sri Lankan long-tailed shrew, Crocodura maya. They are listed as endangered due to only occupying an area of less than 500 kilometers square. They are severely fragmented and continually declining due to deforestation and forest fires, which are the major threats to the species. It has been known to occur at altitudes between 330 meters to 2,310 meters. In the tropical mountain and lowland forests, it is a nocturnal/crepuscular animal. The species isn't well known, so it is hard to have direct conservation measures. But one fun fact about the shrew is that their tails are longer than their head and body put together. Some shrews have adapted to happily exist with humans, such as the Asian house shrew, Suncus munarinus. The Asian house shrew originated in the Indian subcontinent, now ranging from southern Asia, Afghanistan, and southern Japan. They are associated with forest environments, but are often found around houses. To construct their nests out of any loose material in little hidden areas, living for between 1.5 to 2.5 years in captivity and around 1 to 2 years in the wild. They are nocturnal and highly adaptive large shrews. They also have scent glands which can produce a strong musky smell, which they use to put off predators such as brown tree snakes and to ward off other shrews. They are mainly insectivores. They have high metabolic rates, meaning they must feed several times to keep active and breed rapidly. It has an impact on plant animals in newly inhabited areas, and it is labelled as an invasive species. The Asian house shrew has one adorable parroting behaviour. They will form a caravan and follow along behind each other. Last, but first, the skinny shrew, which is not an official shrew, but is the oldest true known mammal and where they are all believed to evolve from. This species snagged insects from out of the air and ferns lying in the shores of freshwater lake 160 million years ago, and might be one of the first true mammals to stroll on the earth. As this short video has shown, shrews are not just cute and furry. There are many different types that have adapted to utilize many habitats, as well as covering many of the records, such as smallest mammal and biggest brain to body size. So the next time someone mentions a shrew, instead of Shakespeare, you will hopefully think of a family of feisty little mammals which are not to be taken lightly.